In 1978, the United States launched Navstar-1, the first satellite of the system we now call GPS. It was a triumph of relativistic physics. Clocks on satellites ticking slightly faster than those on Earth, corrected to the nanosecond to ensure a soldier in a desert or a sailor at sea knew where they stood within a few meters. It changed everything. It gave us the blue dot. But here's the inconvenient truth for anyone trying to scale a business in the 2020s. That $40 billion constellation of satellites is effectively blind the moment you step under a concrete roof, or turn a corner into a high-rise district, or try to land a drone on a specific warehouse dock. GPS is a legacy system designed for a world where near enough was good enough. But AI doesn't need near enough. It needs precision. If you are building an autonomous delivery network, a robotic workforce, or a spatial computing platform, you are currently operating in what we call a localization black hole. You are tethered to a 1970s radio signal in a 2020s machine learning world. The conventional way of looking at this is to hope for better sensors, more LiDAR, more cameras, more processing power. But that perspective is fundamentally incomplete. The problem isn't the sensor, it's the map. We have spent the last 3 years marveling at the voice of AI. Large language models can write code, compose poetry, and simulate empathy. But in strategic terms, these models are currently brains in a vat. They have immense cognitive power, but no physical agency. They don't know where the here is. For an AI to actually do something in the physical world, to move an atom from point A to point B without human intervention, it requires a nervous system that connects its digital logic to physical coordinates. This is where visual positioning systems, or VPS, move from a tech feature to a foundational business substrate. Think of the second-order effect here. When AI can finally orient itself with centimeter-level precision using only a camera lens, the power dynamic shifts away from the companies that make the smartest brain and toward the companies that own the spatial index. If an AI can't perceive that a doorway is 3 inches to the left, its IQ is irrelevant. It is effectively paralyzed. The data here is messy, and we are still not entirely sure which hardware will win, but the shift is clear. We are moving from global positioning to visual understanding. For decades, our digital maps have been made of polygons, flat shapes stitched together to look like buildings. It's the blocky aesthetic of Google Earth. It works from 10,000 feet. It fails at 10 inches. Enter 3D Gaussian Splatting. This isn't just a prettier way to render a building. It's a fundamental shift in how we store the truth of a space. Instead of rigid meshes, we use millions of tiny, translucent particles, splats, to recreate a photorealistic environment. In terms of a mental model, consider information entropy. Traditional maps lose truth the closer you get to them. They become distorted, blurred, and useless for a machine. Gaussian splatting reverses this. It allows a machine to recognize a specific crack in a sidewalk, or the unique grain of a wooden doorframe. But here's the sage pivot. Most founders think the value is in the rendering. It isn't. The value is in the compression. We can now fit the visual DNA of an entire city block into a file size that a delivery robot can download over a standard 5G connection. The cost of truth has dropped to near zero. And yet, having a perfect 3D model is useless if the machine doesn't know what it's looking at. Imagine a world where every sidewalk, every storefront, and every warehouse interior has been scanned into a high-fidelity VPS. Now, ask yourself, who owns that data? This brings us to a concept I call the semantic layer. A visual positioning system sees pixels. A semantic layer sees meaning. It identifies that this cluster of splats is a fire hydrant, and that cluster is a child's stroller. The power dynamic shift here is profound. If one or two big tech giants own the primary spatial index of our cities, we are entering a period of digital feudalism. You might own the atoms of your storefront, but if a third party owns the bits that allow an autonomous delivery robot to find your door, they effectively own the tax on your physical commerce. The counter-argument, of course, is the open standard. Organizations like the Kronos Group are pushing for formats like GLTF to ensure that a map captured by a drone in Tokyo can be read by a robot made in Berlin. But history suggests that convenience usually trumps openness. We must ask ourselves, are we building a world of shared infrastructure, or are we sleepwalking into a world where we have to pay spatial rent to big tech, just for our hardware to recognize its own surroundings? There is a famous Jorge Luis Borges story about a dynamic empire that created a map so detailed it was exactly the same size as the territory it represented. Eventually, the citizens lived on the map. We are approaching a Borges moment with VPS. When a delivery robot navigates a street, it isn't looking at the street, it is looking at its internal VPS model and constantly snapping its camera feed to that model to confirm its location. The map becomes more real to the AI than the territory itself. This leads to a mental model we call the network effect of perception. Every time a machine uses a VPS map, it should, in theory, be updating it. If a robot sees a new construction barrier that wasn't in the map, it reports that error. The map learns. The trap here is the static fallacy. Founders often treat a map as a product you buy once. But in a VPS-driven world, a map is a living, breathing organism. If your map is 48 hours old, it is an antique. In the age of AI, the only thing more dangerous than no information is expired information. Let's look at a systemic puzzle. Consider a massive logistics firm. Let's call them Project Keystone. They invested $200 million in state-of-the-art autonomous forklifts. On paper, it was a masterpiece of efficiency. In practice, the forklifts kept stopping. Why? Because the warehouse was a dynamic environment. Pallets moved, lighting changed as clouds passed over skylights. GPS was non-existent inside the steel frame building. The forklifts were using dead reckoning, counting wheel rotations to guess their position. A 1% error in wheel slip compounded over an hour meant a forklift thought it was in aisle 4 when it was actually about to ram a support pillar in aisle 5. Keystone didn't need more robots. They needed a persistent spatial substrate. They switched to a VPS-based system. They mapped the warehouse using 3D Gaussian Splatting and layered it with a semantic index. Now, the forklifts saw the environment. If a pallet was out of place, the AI recognized it as a temporary obstacle, not a mapping error. The so what, for you, is this. Keystone stopped viewing their warehouse as a physical space and started viewing it as a data architecture. They stopped scaling hardware and started scaling orientation. The final frontier of extending AI capabilities isn't just 3D, it's 4D. Time. The most sophisticated businesses won't just know where things are, they will understand the temporal patterns of space. A VPS system that has been running for 6 months in a retail environment starts to understand that on Saturday mornings, the spatial density of pedestrians increases near the coffee kiosk. This brings us to the mental model of feedback loops. When your AI understands the rhythm of a space, it moves from being reactive to predictive. It doesn't just avoid a person, it predicts where that person will be in 3 seconds based on half a year of spatial data. But here is the hard truth. This level of precision requires a complete surrender of privacy. For an AI to be this useful, it must be constantly observing. We are building a world where the very concept of an unobserved space is a technical glitch. As a leader, you have to decide, is the efficiency of a perfect 4D map worth the cost of the digital panopticon? This is not a technical question, it is an ethical one, and the answer will define the legacy of your brand. We've traveled from the launch of Navstar to the microscopic precision of a splat. But at the end of this systemic deep dive, we find ourselves back at a very human question. How do we choose to see the world? For 20 years, I've watched entrepreneurs try to scale by working harder, buying faster machines, or hiring more bodies. But the sage wisdom is that scaling is rarely about the stuff. It's about the foundations. Visual positioning systems are the new foundation. They are the bridge between the world of bits and the world of atoms. They allow our machines to step out of the vat and join us in reality. But remember this, a map is a way of organizing your ignorance. It tells you where the walls are, so you don't have to keep running into them. But it doesn't tell you where to go. That part, the intent, the why, the legacy, still belongs to the human holding the lens. In your career and your business, don't get so obsessed with the precision of the map that you forget the purpose of the journey. The AI will eventually know where every atom in the room is located, but only you can decide which of those atoms are worth moving. The world is being rebuilt in 3D. The satellites are blinking out, and the cameras are blinking on. The question is, when the map is finally perfect, what will you have the courage to build on top of it? The most important landmarks aren't found on a map. They are the ones you create by standing your ground. If you're currently navigating the trade-offs between operational efficiency and data privacy, or if you're trying to figure out how to bridge the gap between your digital systems and physical assets, let's discuss the nuances in the comments. We read them all. Thanks for being here.